This is an informative how-to video of how to do something awesome, something special, something important, something so important it should be part of standard building requirements. It's part of climate-proof construction. Now you see behind me is mine and my neighbour's garage, and it's got a flat roof on it, which is a great big dead sterile space, and I'm going to show you how to turn that into a living roof. Here's my delivery down here in pallets, and I've got to get all this up onto the garage roof. Now, there are three types of living roof. Firstly, there's intensive green roofs. They consist of a thick layer of soil from 50 to 200 millimetres and more, in which a variety of grasses, herbs, flowers and shrubs can grow. Secondly, there's extensive green roofs. They are generally made up of a shallow layer, 20 to 100 mil of substrate planted with low growing stress tolerant grasses and mosses and sedum, which is what this is. And then thirdly, there's a semi-extensive green roof. They have a slightly greater depth than extensive systems, 100 to 200 mil, but they're constructed on the same principles to allow for a greater diversity of plant. With a living roof, you have to take the loading seriously. I've got to get all this and more up onto my garage roof. You have to consider the saturated weight of it. I'm going for a 20 mil substrate, which will have a saturated weight of 45 kilograms per square metre. Now this is just a standard garage roof built in the 60s, and this roof will easily be able to take that weight, and so can most sheds or huts. So it's sedum that I'm putting on my living roof. So I found some growing wild here. What is sedum and why is it great for living roofs? Well, sedums are very shallow rooted and therefore don't need an awful lot of growing medium. In fact, the word sedum comes from the Latin word sedo, which means to sit, because it seems as though sedum plants are just sitting on top of thin rocky soils that they naturally grow in, like down here. A great place to see it grown in Thanet in the wild is down at the old Hoverport site in Cliff's End. Nature is doing a wonderful job of reclaiming this place, and sedum is everywhere. Right, so I've got the first three things up on my roof now that I'm going to use before I lay the actual sedum blanket. I've got my base layer, I've got my trim that's going to be backed with pebbles to allow for drainage near the guttering end where the roof slopes off, and then I've got some of my substrate up here. Now this base layer offers protection against this roof. It helps drainage and filtration. The base layer is all about drainage. This is because sedum is a member of the cactus family and they do not enjoy having wet feet. The UK climate is wet enough for sedum, so after having installed it, you'll never need to irrigate it. And here is some of my substrate, about a third of the amount I need up on here. Well-drained substrate is vital to a thriving sedum roof. Sedum is a stone crop, therefore it's happiest living in a stone-based growing medium like this. Okay, so first things first, what I'm doing here is I'm laying out the base layer, and I've put the metal trim at the end to give me a guideline to work to. So I'm rolling this base layer out and I'm putting down the bags of substrate I have on top of it to hold it in place. So with this base layer, you've got to make sure you get it the right way round. Now in between these two membranes is sort of an egg boxing, like a plastic egg cup. And you've got to make sure it's the cup side up, because this is like a little water reservoir that will hold the water. And then you take one leaf of the other side and put this on top and then fold that one over. It would be important to do this on a day that's not too windy. The wind would really get hold of this and make it hard work for you and dangerous. This last end I'm just trimming in. I'm using a knife. If you're not confident using a knife near a roof, use a pair of scissors. With the stainless steel trim, you're going to need to cut it to the exact length you need it, because it normally comes in 1 metre lengths. Now what I'm doing here is I'm putting the edging trimming on. I'm going to fill it with gravel. Here I've got some gravel. I'm going to put a border of around about 6 inches, something like that, all the way along, and this will just act as a filter. And now all the base layer is in place, it's time to apply the substrate. As you can see, I've evenly spaced out all my bags of substrate, and I'm going to open them all up. This is to achieve an even surface area of the substrate. See this? Got starlings nesting there. And it's so nice to be working in your garden and there's busy birds working away too. So I'm finally at the stage where I've got all my substrate done. This is so important, this stage, or the preparation stage is really important. You see I've got my gravel bed in, my stainless steel trim there, there's the gutter in. And I've kept this about 20mm thick, this substrate, all over. And you have to really take the time with this to get it right. And I like to use a grass rake, and I use the back of the grass rake just to level off, because you really want to be careful not to be damaging the base layer underneath. Okay, this is the bit I've been dreading. I've got the seed and turf here. I'm going to unroll it and show you. It's got a protective fleece sewn into it as well. Look at that lot. Now, as you can imagine, getting this turf, which is heavy, up there is a messy job, and it's heavy. And I've got to do it on my own. Now, if you're going to do this, it is a two-person job to get this turf up on the roof. But I'm a determined person, and I'm going to do it. So now it's just a case of taking the rolls of turf up onto the roof one by one. As I say, it's definitely a two-person job, but the protective fleece that's sewn into this turf really helps hold it in place. And you just want to roll it out and really take your time with this and try and get the bits to interlock at the edges, just, you know, stretch them in. And you're going to find lots of dead bits and bare patches when you're doing this. So just take the time to tear bits of turf off and patch it all up to get it all looking good. So living roof, green roof, whatever you want to call it, what's so good about them? Well, firstly, they're beautiful, they give life and they look great. They also improve air quality, they reduce storm water runoff, they act as summer and winter insulation. This garage gets hot in the summer and the living roof is going to prevent that, and our summers are getting hotter. They encourage biodiversity, they're effective sound insulation, they reduce the urban heat island effect, and this is a problem. People are concreting everything at the moment. Big black flat roofs like this are really heating the place up, and the biggest killer of flat roofs is UV, the sunlight. So a living roof will extend the roof life. And amazingly, this 30 square metre roof is going to sequester 150 kilograms of carbon a year. So, if you have a shed, hut, garage or a flat roof on your house, try and bring it to life. Give a little love and enjoy the beauty.